Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in. Today, we're going to be looking at Bitcoin and its recent price move to the downside. Today, it is down, roughly 4%. Um, Earlier this morning, it was down like 4%, and now it's up to like 3.75, 350. Back down to about $60,000, and we're heading towards the elusive 20-day moving average once again. Currently, the 20-day moving average is at $59,172, give or take the current price because it is fluctuating, but that is around the price that we're looking at right now. Um, with the recent price move to the upside a few days ago, going up to, I believe that the top for Bitstamp was 60, yeah, just under $65,000. We see clear higher highs, right? This is a good thing. We're seeing higher highs every single time. But as I mentioned before, one thing that we have noticed is that the run-ups for those highs are getting smaller, right? So from the 20-day moving average, so I'm not necessarily measuring it from the bottom, but from the 20-day moving average, you see that these are getting smaller and smaller and smaller. If we take it from here, you could do that, or you could do this and this. They're getting smaller, right? So from 66% to 21 to 6 to 12.5% moves up in the price of Bitcoin. So they are getting smaller, and it's kind of getting, it's getting a little interesting, right? We're back into this rising wedge structure, which is ultimately a bearish indicator, if I recall correctly. But again, it doesn't have to break to the downside every single time. But we in order for us to continue on this path we have in front of us, Bitcoin needs to be above the 20-day moving average in order for the price to continue to go up. Now, we always talk about how, Bitcoin's at $60,000, $65,000. We're, far extended. We haven't had a major correction in quite some time. Uh, there are arguments out there talking about the major crashes of Bitcoin are long behind us, and I would completely disagree. Bitcoin has the capability and could break down at any given point, and the first target for that would be the 20-week moving average, right? Currently, right now, we haven't had a significant correction to the 20-week moving average in quite some time, ever since 2020 in the early fall, where we dropped from a top of, I believe it was like $12,000 to the 20-week moving average, which was like a 20% drop. But if we look at past cycles, we clearly see that the drops were bigger, right? Um, even visually looking at them, they look bigger. And by percentage wise, there were 40% corrections, another 40% correction. Um, when we broke the prior all-time high, and came back down, it was a 30% correction. So as you can see, we've had corrections on the magnitude of 30, 40%, and it was completely fine. Um, Currently, right now, we're sitting pretty at 43% above the 20-week moving average. So we could have one of those corrections today, and we'd still be in line with past cycle drops to the 20-week moving average. It got a little dicey when we're, 123% above the 20-week moving average. And you know what, in February, where we went to 119, it got pretty dicey because we've never seen Bitcoin's price that much above the 20-week moving average correct and stay above the 20-week moving average. Every single time it went to a certain percentage above the 20-week and it crashed, it didn't the price couldn't hold the 20 week. It corrected further down. Classic example is the December 2017 drop, where Bitcoin was at 182% above the 20-week moving average, dropped, came back down, and price, we all know what happened. So with this recent correction, nothing for cause of concern, really. Even if we do drop 30, 40%, it's something we need to expect all the time. Do not dilute yourself into thinking that the corrections are over. They're not. There will come a day of reckoning, where a lot of people are going to get burned, and Um, but these upcoming corrections, if they do come, don't necessarily mean that the party is over. It just means that Bitcoin is cooling down. I think at $60,000, we're not at the point yet where this is like a market or global top, like in December 2017. More so, potentially just a significant correction during a bull market. And with that said, it's not too cause of concern at the very moment. I mean, if we're in the same situation, right, and we're like 100 and like 200% above the 20-week moving average, different story. I would say this is not a good sign. Um, but currently, right now, Bitcoin's price since February has kind of subsided, hasn't increased a whole hell of a lot, allowing the 20-week moving average to catch up. And so here we are, 43% above the 20-week moving average, currently at $61,000. Now, any kind of price correction um, of Bitcoin, even if it wasn't a market top, like a global top, is going to have a significant impact on altcoins, and we kind of see that today. Ethereum's down 1.23%, Link is down 1.5%. Um, not terrible losses. The bigger losses you see is against the US dollar, which is fine. The more of a concern would be the Bitcoin valuation, and we're not dropping too much. XRP is having a bad day, down 8%. Litecoin is holding steady, and lo and behold, Tezos, after my first video, is holding strong and looking to leave the band, and we'll talk about that later. But if Bitcoin has a 40% correction, rest assured that altcoins are not going to do very well, at least in the short term. They might recover faster than Bitcoin, but that drop is going to be kind of scary for some people. Which is why it's imperative to have a significant Bitcoin allocation in your portfolio. A, to limit your risk when altcoins are doing badly. And B, you have a surplus of Bitcoin that when it does drop, altcoins become at get a discount essentially in their Bitcoin valuation, and it might be in your best interest to look at some of your favorite coins, um, and see which one you're willing to buy at that new Bitcoin valuation with your Bitcoin. So that's pretty much it for today, you guys. Not a fire alarm yet, I would say, for Bitcoin's price. If we're unable to hold the 20-day, then the next obvious stop would be the 50-day. But I feel like if we have any kind of significant correction, it's going to break both moving averages pretty easily, and we'll be on our way to the 20-week moving average, which is currently I believe at $43,000. Um, 42,675. Last week it was 40,529. So it's increasing at about $2,000 per week. Because Bitcoin isn't rising as quickly anymore. The further we go at this price range, the slower the 20-week moving average is going to increase. But probably by next week we'll be we'll be at about $44,000 or so, adding maybe 1,500 to $2,000 in of a dollar increase to the 20-week moving average, and we'll see about a $44,000  20-week moving average. So the 20-week moving average is catching up. It is rising, despite the fact that Bitcoin's price is kind of, essentially stagnant. I would say the last 3 weeks have been pretty good. Slowly increasing, but the 20-week moving average is moving up faster. As you can see, the distance between the price to the 20-week moving average, despite the price movement to the upside, the 20-week moving average is catching up and closing the gap. But that's all for today, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.